Oh, well, hello. Hello. Hopefully, I am working good. I did a mic check, checking my volume, making sure I'm not too loud over here. Hope everybody's having a great day. I saw there was some people already in chat. Momo's, Eddie. Hello, Swamp Rose, Gina. I saw you were here earlier. Sorry I'm late. I totally had to reboot the entire computer. My camera wouldn't connect. It kept saying that like my laptop wasn't finding my mic or my camera, and it was telling me to reboot. So sorry. Here now. It's fine. No worries. We are going to get into a lot. I would like to, since I didn't get to blow through the first 50 yesterday, we're going to do like 33 to 50 now. And then I have another live scheduled for 3 o'clock this afternoon. And that live, I want to do literally like 51 through like 100 if I can. So we're going to crank this shit out today, friends. I've already read ahead, obviously. Um, I'm sure many of you already have. You know many of the details already, so it's fine. We're gonna go through it together, and I'll give my thoughts on what I'm reading. You know, do what we do over her. What do we do over her? We just we redox and we snark a little, and that's okay. Well, Carrie, hello, good to see you. Welcome on in. Wellington, hello. How are you? Gina, I sound good. Well, thanks, honey. I appreciate that. Good to see you. Eddie, always good to see you. Momo, always good to see you. I figure I'll give it a few minutes, let some notifications click in. I know Lana's live, so I don't expect a lot of people here today. It's totally fine. Um, this is more for me than anybody else. It's for me to have it in my brain and like read it myself and absorb everything. So um, let's see. We're just gonna kick it right off. I usually try to give like a good 5 minutes, 10 minutes of hellos and let the notifications click in. And today I'm not gonna do that. If you're here, I appreciate you being here. Don't forget to thumbs it up or thumbs it down on your way in. Follow your heart, do whatever you want. Um, I have not heard any news on Dana Renee's son, no, but hoping everything is okay. Really am. Peaches, hello, good to see you. Welcome on in. Thanks everybody for being here. We're gonna just crank this right out and get into it, friends. 33 through 50. And then don't forget to go turn your notification on for the next live, which is scheduled for 3. And we're gonna try and go through 51 through like 100 today. That's my goal because I've already read ahead and I want to get to like I'm just, you know, my flabber is gasted. Okay, that's all that I'm going to say. About what I have read so far, I have gotten up to like, I want to say 110-ish in the docs, right? And literally my flabber is gasted. It's just, I, bro, why'd you ask for an appeal? Like, that's my question. When Elisa Massett said that this case is full of alternative perpetrators, she literally wasn't fucking kidding, right? We're not 5 minutes in. I dropped an F-bomb. It's fine. Okay, it's not, this shit ain't made for kids anyway, and I have it marked as that. So, my flabber is gasted. I understand why Miss Massett is saying this case is full of alternative perpetrators. I don't know why he asked for a plea. I don't know why you're asking for a plea. I just don't. Only thing I can think of is to get this shit out of this fucked up court and away from, these fucked up prosecutors and whatever. And that's just my personal, humble opinion, right? Um, yeah, my flabber is gasted, Eddie, literally. And I've read well ahead than what we're doing right here today, okay? And I'm just I'm literally blown away. I'm blown away by what I'm reading. I can't. Clifton. Oh, well, hello. Good to see you. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome on in. Thank you for being here. Beach Babe, good morning. Hello. Bunny Murphy. Hello. Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. I'm just being straight, as honest as I can be. I don't know why you're asking for a plea. I really don't. And the only thing I can think of is you're entirely guilty. You know you're guilty, or you want your case out of this fucked up court, away from these fucked up prosecutors. You just want everything released because they're not giving it to you and coughing it the fuck up when you've asked 25 times. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know anymore, right? I don't know shit anymore. And that's why I've always said it. I don't know shit, no facts here. Don't rely on me. These are just my opinions and me being a snarky bitch on what I'm reading because I'm like, this is fucking insane. Why are you even asking for a plea, Mr. Koberger? Why? I agree with Miss Massa. This case is full of alternative perpetrators. Yep, I still agree with her on that. I still agree, regardless of his confession. I fully agree with Miss Massive on that hot take of whatever she saw. So, um, pretty interesting. Jackie, hello, you're here. Awesome. Welcome in. All right. So let's just crack on, okay? We're just gonna crack on, friends. We've said our hellos, we've gotten through the pleasantries. I've given my short little brief opinion so far. And and that's all that I can say for right now. It's just all that I could say for right now. Make this bigger for you, friends. All right. So here we go. This is supplemental report number 33. We started on a good number. Tyson Barrett, 1122, right? So he's writing this up literally same day they're transporting the sheath profile and or sheath to Othram. This is for U of I camera footage. On November 21st, at around 14:30 hours, I met with U of I Deputy Director of Public Safety and Security, BL, regarding saved security camera footage on campus. We provided L an external hard drive to recover the footage, and he completed the transfer of information. After receiving the hard drive, I immediately turned it over to FBI agent Dave Bodley so his team could review the data. That's the first time we've heard this special agent's name from the FBI, Dave Bodley. And this is all of the U of I footage. Remember the one that Ann Taylor said that she got? The campus footage? I think that's what all of this is. I could be wrong. But it's interesting that that's the first time we've heard this gentleman's name here, FBI agent Dave Bodley. And it's interesting that Captain Barrett here says we provided, meaning I'm guessing Moscow PD provided them an external hard drive to put everything on. So that's interesting. Okay, so that was number 33. Stop sharing that. Let's go into number 34. Make that one bigger. Put on my little highlighter. Okay, so here we go. Supplemental report number 34. This is from John Rosinski, also dated 11/22/2022, same day they are transporting the sheath and or sheath profile. Rosinski booking of 2 cigarette butts for Detective Adams' ISP behalf. So Rosinski is booking in 2 cigarette butts on behalf of Detective Adams from ISP. Item number 252, item number 253. Both are cigarette butts. On November 21st, 2022, I was asked by Detective Adams with the Idaho State Police to book 2 cigarette butts into evidence that he collected. Detective Adams brought the 2 cigarette butts to the Moscow Police Department evidence room, where I watched him place both in 2 separate ISP envelopes. I sealed the envelopes with evidence tape and signed the tape for both. The chain of custody was filled out on both envelopes. I booked the 2 envelopes into MPD evidence and requested they be sent to the state lab. I took photographs of the cigarette butts and attached them to this case file. 2 cigarette butts. All right, that's number 34. Let's go to 35. 2 cigarette butts. All right. Here we go. Supplemental report number 35 from Justin Dean. Also, November 22nd, 2022, same day as the transportation of the sheath and or profile and or both. Drug tip follow-up. On November 21st, 2022, at approximately 11:57 hours, I was asked by Captain Tyson Barrett to follow up on a possible lead in the 1122 King Road homicide case. I was told a Mexican drug dealer with the moniker redacted was possibly selling drugs to several fraternities and sororities on the University of Idaho campus. Well, isn't that interesting? I told Captain Barrett I would contact several of my contacts to see if anyone knew of redacted. At approximately 12:04, I began contacting my fellow Quad Cities Drug Task Force detectives, Brett Damon, Colby Martin, and Bryson Ace. Bryson Ace, that's a cool name, buddy. None of the detectives had heard of this redacted selling cocaine in the Quad Cities. At approximately 12:11, I reached out to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, Special Agent T.J. Wahara, out of the Spokane, Washington office, referencing redacted. Special Agent Wahara hadn't heard of redacted, but said he would reach out to others. I also spoke with Brandon DeMeyer with Benton County Sheriff's Office in Washington at approximately 16:25. Deputy DeMeyer hadn't heard of redacted, but said he would contact his local detectives about the name and let me know if he found out anything. I will be waiting to see if any information can be found about redacted. So Tyson Barrett told this police officer, Justin Dean, he needed him to do a follow-up on a drug lead in the homicide. And this lead that Barrett gave him was this Mexican drug dealer, redacted, is possibly selling drugs, specifically cocaine, to several fraternities and sororities on the U of I campus. Interesting. And it's the witnesses when police are interviewing them and some of these other supplementals that we've read. These witnesses are saying that it's Xana and Kaylee who are the ones doing the cocaine. And they also found a rolled up $2 bill with some blue powder. My guess that's a dirty 30, but I'm just speculating. Usually those blues are fents. It's like dirty fent pills. So rolled up $2 bill, powder up the desk. The witnesses, friends of these victims are saying, I mean, yeah, Xana was into the cocaine. Did any, was Kaylee doing any drugs? Well, only cocaine that I know of. It's like, okay. And then they're getting this tip that there's this Mexican drug dealer selling cocaine to several of the fraternities and sororities. Okay. Number 35. Let's move on to number 36. Welcome on in, everybody. If you're just coming in and I haven't seen you or acknowledged you, so sorry. I'm in another window with dogs, but welcome on in. Good to see you. Happy Friday. Okay. Here we have supplemental report number 36, Tyson Barrett, November 22nd, 2022. I'm going to say it every time I see this date. This is the date that they are transferring the sheath, profile from the sheath, and or both to Othram Labs. These are OCRI documents, which I found this very interesting. So on November 22nd at 11:20, I met with LE at the U of I Office of Civil Rights and Investigations. I provided E with a new USB storage device to which she saved documents pertinent to the investigation. The Office of Civil Rights and Investigations. On November 22nd at 11:30, I met with FBI agent Alex Skelton at the police department. I gave Agent Skelton the USB storage device containing the documents E provided. Now, I'm just speculating here, but I know that they were asking for, because Jack had put in on November 3rd, he wrote to like the dean of students about how his mental health or whatever things have occurred in his life and privately, that his mental health was not well. I don't know if he needed to get out of classes. I don't know if he was trying to drop out or whatever he was doing. So I don't know if this is the records they're talking about, but I thought it was really interesting that it's the Office of Civil Rights and Investigations. And it's being, this is all being done on the same day that they're transferring the sheath and the profile or both to Othram. Okay, so that's number 36. Stop sharing that. Let's get into number 37. We're just going to crank it along here, friends. Okay. Supplemental report number 37. Officer John Rosinski. This is Rosinski OCR files, RI files pickup. So this is the Office of Civil Rights and Investigations files picking up, right? So on November 23rd, 2022, Agent Alex Skelton from the FBI requested files to be picked up from the Office of Civil Rights and Investigations. Agent Skelton provided me with 2 thumb drives, HP and SanDisk. I transported the thumb drives to OCRI, where I met with LE, Deputy Director of OCRI. He downloaded the files onto the SanDisk thumb drive. Once complete, he gave me the SanDisk thumb drive, and I transported both thumb drives back to the Moscow Police Department. I returned both thumb drives to Agent Skelton. I see. So he brought the thumb drives over for Alex Skelton and got everything and then transported it back. Or no, Barrett. Tyson Barrett transferred it back, because we just read Barrett's report on this. All right. I think he's the one who transferred it back. Literally, sometimes I will read a document, and as soon as I close it out, poof, bye. It has left my brain, and I'm on to the next. So if I get anything wrong here, sorry, okay, no facts here. I'm not a lawyer. Don't trust me. Read the documents yourself. Come to your own conclusions. Don't listen to anything I say. All right, close that up. That was number 37. I've had people say to me before, why do you always say that? How come you say no facts here? Well, because I'm not going to have somebody come back and say, oh, well, you got this wrong or you got that wrong. No, bitch, I don't know shit. And that's why I always say I don't know shit and don't listen to me. Due diligence is key. Exercise due diligence. Don't just listen to what someone tells you. Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying, including polls. Hello. I'm checking chat now. Hello, hello. Could you remove the comment? It's blocking much of the document. Oh, shit, honey. Okay, you got it. Done. Anything for you, darling. I'm not going to put up comments, but I will say hi to everybody. Michelle, hello. Welcome in. Echo, hello. Good to see you. I don't know if I missed anybody else. I'm sorry. 12, hello. Good to see you. Peaches, I don't know if I already said hi to you, but hello. I think I got everybody. Lurkers, hello. Twiz, hello, darling. Good to see you. I'm glad you and I are okay again. We better be. All right. So which one was that? Oh, it doesn't matter. I closed it out. Yvonne, hello. Good to see you. Hope everybody's having a great Friday. Welcome on in. All right. Next one. Number 38. Let's make this bigger. Make sure I took down the comment. Nothing on the screen. Okay, cool. Get over here. May even be able to make that a little bit bigger for you guys, but then it blows out my screen, so we're just going to roll with it. All right. This is Supplemental Report number 38 from Anthony Dollinger, November 28th, 2022. The transport of evidence to the state lab in Meridian, M107. I believe that's the sheet, right? Or is it phones? I don't remember. Anyways, on November 18th, so 5 days after the crime, I met with Moscow Police Department Property Coordinator T.S. S released the following items of evidence to me. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I then transported those items of evidence to Meridian, Idaho, where I turned them over to the Idaho State Police Forensic Services. Okay. Nothing important there. Number 38. Stop sharing that. Close it out. Let's go to number 39. Beach Babe, you're a listener and a learner. Well, thanks, darling. So am I. I prefer to just, come to my own conclusions. You know what I mean? Next one up. Number 39 is what's up on deck. Da, 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 da. Make this bigger for you. All right. Supplemental report number 39 from Lawrence Mowry. Detective Mowry, where you been? I haven't seen you in chat lately. Sandbagging son of a bitch. Where are you? eBay sales warrant. On November 26th, I requested and was granted a warrant for eBay for the sale of the following items between January 1st, 2022 to present. Oopsie. ASIN number for K-Bar full size U.S. Marine Corps fighting knife, and then ASIN number for a K-Bar leather sheath USMC logo. On November 26, 2022, at approximately 19:07 hours, I logged into the eBay law enforcement e-request system and located a link. I received an email from blank providing me with internal case number of redacted. On November 28th, 2022, at approximately 11:05, I received an email from eBay stating the files were ready to download. In examining the files, eBay showed no purchases for the ASIN 4938 K-bar full-size U.S. Marine Corps fighting knife. However, in examining the files, eBay showed several user IDs associated with the sale of the ASIN 4661 K-bar leather sheath. Alright, so even though it's not showing any sales for the knife they're looking for, it is showing sales of the sheath. And then it tells you here in what states it was purchased, a sheath that they are specifically looking at was purchased. And, I would say, I guess, out of all of them, right, these states would likely be your relevant ones, considering victim, suspect, and where the crime occurred. You have Arizona, Idaho, Pennsylvania, Washington, Texas, Washington, Arizona. It says no subscriber information, IP addresses, payment information, or customer records were provided. As these user IDs are associated with the knife sheath purchase before or after November 13th, I am requesting the assistance of the Latah County Prosecutor's Office to apply for a warrant for the following: account information for the above-named eBay user ID subscriber information to include contact information, billing information, account opening date, account closing date, and any other information retained in connection with the identified accounts. Order details and purchase history for all transactions conducted by the above-named eBay user IDs or any eBay-affiliated storefront web store, including IP address information for purchases made, shipping addresses, and issuing bank card used. Come and check chat. Rayanette, hello, good to see you. Lucy, hello, how are you? Good morning, Right Brain, good to see you. Welcome on in, everybody. Thanks for being here. Just want to make sure my audio is holding up. Is it not? Why do I feel like I'm having a problem all of a sudden? Hang on. Sorry, friends. Just give me a memento. I just want to make sure that I'm good here and that my audio is holding up good. Alright, sorry about that. My audio is good? Okay, cool. Thanks. Appreciate that. Meg, hello. Good to see you. Alright. Let's see. Payment information for payments made or facilitated by eBay to or from the above-named user IDs, including payments through eBay or eBay-supported platforms. All customer interaction records between eBay and the above-named individuals, entities, and their representatives, to include call notes, call recordings, emails, and or written correspondence. I completed the warrant return, receipt, and affidavit. These documents were sent to the Latah County Prosecutor's Office to be returned to the court. I thought I saw something else in here. No. Okay. So, apparently eBay shows no purchases for the specific knife they were looking for, but it did show purchases for the sheath. So, interesting. That was number 39. Close that out. Let's get to number 40. Make this bigger for you. Do I have anybody's comments up? Nope. Okay, not blocking the screen. Perfect. All right, this is supplemental report number 40, Lawrence Mowry, router interrogation. On November 13th, 2022, is he writing this up? 28th, okay, 5 days later. On November 13th, 2022, I responded to 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho in an attempt to interrogate the wireless router located at this residence. After speaking with Corporal Brett Payne, he informed me the wireless router and cable modem were located in the living room on the second floor. After arrival, I used an Ethernet cable to connect my laptop to the local area network ports on the back of the Spectrum Wi-Fi 6 router with the serial number redacted. The router then provided my laptop with an IP address and gateway IP, which resolved to the router. I attempted to locate a web-based management portal for the device, but was prompted to download the Spectrum app and use the account username and password to access the device. I contacted Spectrum technical support and found this was the only way for the client to access the data on the device. I then called the Charter Law Enforcement Response Team and spoke with a representative and tried to ascertain if Charter Spectrum could retrieve the data from the router via their diagnostic portal. After several days and phone calls to Charter, I spoke with TD, the manager of the Legal Response Operations Center. Dee stated her team was working on verifying if router hardware was able to be accessed. On November 17th, I again called Charter and left a voicemail. Dee returned my phone call and stated her technicians were able to access and download the data from the router. So on November 17th, her technicians were able to access and download the data from the router. However, they did not preserve the correct time frame specified in my request. I was told she would have her technicians retry and preserve the data. On November 17th, I again called Charter and I left a voicemail for Dee. I received a call back from Dee who stated the technicians were able to retrieve data for the time periods of September 14th, 2022 to November 7th and November 11th through November 14th. I was informed there was a problem. I was informed there was a problem on their cloud services that resulted in the data loss for November 8th through the 10th. I informed Dee I would be applying for a warrant and requesting that data with the legal process. From my training and experience, I know wireless routers allow wireless devices to connect to them for access to the internet or other devices on the local area network. During this process, after a device has successfully connected to the wireless router, a log of this connection and the specific MAC address of each device is kept on the device. If a user previously selected the Connect Automatically setting while connecting to the wireless router, which is a common default setting, the device will connect to the router automatically without any user input. These devices would have to be in close proximity of the router to be shown on the MAC address log. The data previously stored on the wireless router located at 1122 King Road and preserved by Charter may show individual MAC addresses of devices connected to the device. If the suspect had previously connected to the wireless router, was in close proximity to the wireless router located in the residence, this device may have automatically connected and appear in the MAC address logs. This could provide evidence of when a device was in close proximity of the router on the night Madison, Kaylee, Ethan, and Xana were murdered. I requested the assistance of the Latah County Prosecutor's Office in applying for a warrant to serve on Charter for the data records preserved and stored at Charter Communications, associated with the Spectrum wireless router with serial number redacted and MAC number redacted, MAC ID redacted, and Spectrum cable modem with MAC redacted and serial number redacted from the time frame of September 14th to November 14th. On November 21st, 2022, I was granted a warrant for the data preserved by Charter and served the warrant at approximately 2039. On November 22nd, same day, they are transporting the sheath and or sheath profile and or both. Who's this? Mowry? Who the fuck is this again? Doesn't matter. Does it even matter anymore? Maori. So on November 22nd, he receives an email from M stating the files were ready to download via the charter portal. I logged into the portal, downloaded the files, and saved them to a computer in the secure forensic lab at the Moscow Police Department. I completed the warrant return receipt and affidavit. These documents were sent to M to the, oh, that's what I wanted to point out. Look at, I completed the warrant return receipt and affidavit. These documents were sent to the M redacted prosecutor's office to be returned to the court. Monroe? Is it Monroe? Who's M? Because shouldn't this say Leta, right? These documents were sent to the M redacted prosecutor's office to be returned to the court. So is that Monroe? I know it sounds weird, but I don't know why this kind of jumped out to me. I don't know if, Meg, for fuck's sake, Fitziana, any, anyone in chat, Eddie. I don't know if one of you guys know what this means here. M redacted prosecutor's office. Is that Monroe? I completed the warrant return receipt and affidavit. These documents were sent to the M redacted prosecutor's office to be returned to the court. Monroe is Pennsylvania, Monroe County. November 22nd, right? So the same day that they're sending off the sheet profile and everything to Othram, he's getting an email from M stating the files were ready to download via the charter portal. And then they were returned to the M prosecutor's office. I don't know. Where was this person from again? Yeah, no, it's not them. Well, either way, that's interesting. So this is document number, supplemental report number 40. If anybody wants to, if you're taking notes or you're highlighting certain ones that may be of interest, this one, I don't know if it means anything. I don't know what the M redacted prosecutor's office is, but I feel like this would have been returned. This is the one from the house, right? This is the router from the house. It's being returned to the M prosecutor's office to be returned to the court. Which court? I don't know. Weird. So, let's stop sharing that one. That was number 40. Move on to 41. Yeah, I know, right, Meg? Like, seriously. I don't understand why the information for the router in the house would be being returned to a different prosecutor's office that's not LATOF. Like, I could understand if this was Brian's router from his parents' house or something, but this is the router collected from the crime scene at the 1122 King Road home. So, not exactly sure why the data and everything on that router would be being returned to a different prosecutor's office that's not LATA, but what do I know? I don't know shit. So, it's just interesting. I don't know. Monroe County, and I'm trying to think of Washington, if is there an M prosecutor's office in Washington? What's that one out there? I don't know. Montana? I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah, I know, right, Meg? Like, I've read ahead on these docs. I'm just, getting all this little by little. But yeah, I mean, holy shit, man. Moscow prosecution? Oh, maybe. Maybe. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. Figured I'd point it out. I expected it to say Latah County Prosecutor's Office because that's what a lot of these other documents say, is that the information's been downloaded and then given to the, Latah County Prosecutor's Office to be returned to the court, right? That that so far is the only one that I've seen that's being returned to a different prosecutor's office. That's not Latah, and I'm not sure why. It's the router from the house, so I don't know. All right, 41. Let's see. Oopsie. Supplemental report number 41, also from Lawrence Mowry. D phone warrant. Guessing it is decor. If I remember correctly, this is for Jack. We'll just say D for now. So this is for D phone warrant. November 17th, 2022, JD was interviewed. So yeah, Jack Decor was interviewed by Sergeant Mike Van Leuven. Van Leuven. Oh shit. Are you serious? So Tolson and Van Leuven. These are the same two guys from Brian Drake's case. These are the same two. Tolson and Van Leuven are the guys from the Brian Drake case in Bonner's Ferry. Interesting. Okay, so November 17th, Jack Decor was interviewed by Mike Van Leuven from the Idaho State Police at the ISP District 1 office. At that time, he provided his phone to Sergeant Van Leuven, along with a consent to search the phone. That phone is an iPhone XR with IMEI redacted, transported to the Coeur d'Alene Police Department Forensics Lab at redacted. I applied for and was granted a search warrant to access the contents of the iPhone. The phone was to be extracted by Detective Dustin Taylor of the Coeur d'Alene Police Department, so he's the one who also had all the other phones. Detective Mike Van Leuven had taken the phone to Dustin Taylor at the Computer Forensic Lab at Coeur d'Alene Police Department. I emailed a copy of the warrant to him at 16:43 on November 17th. On November 18th, while confirming Detective Taylor received the warrant, I was informed the phone was no longer at Coeur d'Alene Police Department. Idaho State Police Lieutenant Paul Berger picked up the phone from Taylor and delivered it to the Spokane County Sheriff's Office, where investigative analyst BJ received it. The data on the phone was forensically extracted at that location. On November 19th, the Idaho State Police Detective Rich Alderson retrieved the phone from the forensic lab and delivered the phone to Decor's mother, per the attorney's wishes. That is very interesting. On November 18th, while confirming Detective Taylor has received my warrant, I was informed the phone is no longer at the Coeur d'Alene Police Department because a lieutenant from ISP has gone to pick up the phone from Taylor and delivered it to the Spokane County Sheriff's Office instead, where investigative analyst BJ received it. On November 19th, Idaho State Police Detective Rich Alderson retrieved the phone from the forensic lab and delivered it to Decor's mother, per their attorney's wishes. On November 21st, 2022, Detective Anderson of the Idaho State Police provided Sergeant Van Leuven with a USB drive containing the extraction. Sergeant Van Leuven then provided the USB drive to me, and it was placed into the secure forensics lab at the Moscow Police Department An examination will be completed at my earliest convenience. Since the warrant was not served, I did not complete a warrant return receipt as nothing was collected. Court documents were sent to the Latah County Prosecuting Office. Court documents were sent. See how all of these things say everything's being returned to the Latah County Prosecutor's Office? That's what almost all of these say, except for that other one. This one's saying court documents were sent. Interesting. Okay, so that's number 41. Let's get into number 42. Hope everybody's having a great day. Happy Friday. Thanks for being here. Okay, supplemental report number 42. Again, Lawrence Mallory. So he's writing this 15 days later. He's writing this report 15 days after the crime, it appears. Or it looks like, yeah. All right, so this is initial interviews. On November 13, 2022, I was directed to interview potential witnesses in regards to the incidents at 1122 King Road. The following interviews were conducted at the Moscow Police Department. Interview 1, DM. On 11/13, DM was interviewed in regard to the homicide investigation at 1122 King Road. D said she was a resident of the house where the incident occurred. D said she was at a blank party at around 10:30 on November 12th, 2022. I'm guessing sorority or fraternity is the redacted party she's at, where she was drinking. Dylan said she went to blank's house, redacted. Dylan said she believed she arrived home at 0:30 hours, so between 12:30 and 1 on November 13th. Dylan said she thought Bethany arrived home around 20 minutes after she did. Dylan said she believed Maddie and Kaylee arrived home at around 1:30 or 2 on November 13th. Dylan said up to this. Up to what? Up to when Maddie and Kaylee got home. Up to this, nothing weird happened throughout the night. She believed Maddie and Kaylee arrived home at 1:30 or 2. And she said up to this, nothing weird happened. Dylan said she and her friend, redacted, came home, followed by B from redacted. Dylan said L lived at the redacted house, and B was her roommate at the residence. So that can't be Bethany then. B arrived home 20 minutes late. I have no idea anymore. I just don't know. D said L lived at the redacted house and B was her roommate at the residence. D said when Maddie came home and Kaylee came home from the corner club at the same time and everyone went to bed. Well, that's interesting because Bethany says you guys all went up to Kaylee's room. Dylan was asked about the layout of her house. She said Kaylee's room was directly above hers. That's interesting. Kaylee's room was directly above hers. I thought Maddie's room was directly above Dylan's. Right? Kaylee's room is supposed to be above Xana and Ethan's. Maddie's room is above Dylan's. No. Left side of the house if you're looking at it from the driveway, correct? Dylan is the second floor. Maddie's room would have been above Dylan's. Now, I don't know if this is him just writing information wrong in this report, but according to him, Dylan said Kaylee's room was directly above hers. Dylan said she lived on the second floor and Kaylee lived on the third. Dylan said Kaylee and Maddie both lived upstairs on the third floor in separate rooms. Dylan said Xana lived closest to the bathroom on the second floor, and Bethany lived on the first floor. When asked about Murphy, Dylan said it was a dog owned in common between Kaylee and her boyfriend, JD. Dylan said there was no apparent issues between Kaylee and Jack. Dylan said Maddie had a boyfriend named J.S., who was in Boise at the time of the incident. Dylan indicated Xana was dating Ethan Chapin, who was in the room with her at the time of the incident. Dylan did not know of anyone who would want to hurt Ethan when she was asked. Dylan was asked if she saw any cars in the area that should not be there. Dylan said, "No, I was not really looking at that." Dylan said she woke up around 4 on 11/13/2022, where she could hear Kaylee and Murphy, the dog, and dancing. Dylan said she knew it was Kaylee because she recognized her voice. Now, remember how many times I've said that I believe the cops literally took this girl's words, and kind of twisted them a little bit because she's telling them, no, I know it's Kaylee because I know her voice. And I could hear Murphy barking. But I could also understand why the cops are saying, Dylan, it couldn't have been Kaylee you heard because Kaylee's upstairs in the bed, deceased. And the cops are thinking in their mind, if you heard her running down the stairs with the dog, how the fuck did she get back up in the room, right? Because we're not seeing blood all over the stairs in the living room, all right? They're only talking about blood contained basically to these two rooms and a couple spots on the ping pong table. So I could see why the police are sitting here saying, okay, it couldn't have been Kaylee, Dylan, because she's literally upstairs deceased. Are you sure? She's saying, no, I know it was her because I know her voice. And they're telling her it couldn't have been her. Ann Taylor even said it couldn't have been her. And she's saying, no, I know it was. I know her voice. Interesting. And she could hear Murphy barking. So she thinks she's hearing Kaylee, but it's not Kaylee. But she can hear the dog barking and a female with the dog. What female is running around with Murphy and coming down the stairs with him? And Dylan thinks it's Kaylee. And they're trying to tell her that nope, you heard wrong. Right? They're trying to tell her, nope, you heard wrong. Well, then why are you using her as your key eyewitness? If you think that she is telling you things that are incorrect about what could have occurred, why are you using her in her statements basically as like your key eyewitness for your case? Right? So there's just a lot of questions here when it comes to what she's telling them that she is seeing and hearing. They're telling her that can't be right. She's saying, no, it is. It's just really interesting. Nope, it is Kaylee. It was Kaylee with her dog. And then the question becomes, well, then, if she's still alive at this time, running down the stairs screaming with the dog, when exactly did she end up back upstairs? And where is the blood trail? Right? Where is the blood trail? So, because the cops are looking at it from an evidentiary perspective. If it was Kaylee and her dog, okay, like she's trying to run away or get away from the perpetrator and somehow ended up chased back upstairs, you would expect that there's a fight occurring. She's trying to fight. She's trying to get away. There would be, some kind of blood trail or evidence of that in other parts of the house, right? If Dylan is saying she is running down the stairs with the dog through the house. Okay. Dylan said she heard Kaylee go upstairs and say, there is someone here. Dylan said she thought she heard Kaylee run back down the stairs. Dylan said Kaylee sounded scared when she made this statement. So Dylan did tell the police that Kaylee sounded scared when she's making these statements. So she knows it's Kaylee because she recognized her voice and could hear Murphy barking. She said she heard Kaylee go upstairs and say there is someone here. She said she thought she heard Kaylee run back down the stairs. She said Kaylee sounded scared when she made this statement. Dylan said at this time she jumped up, locked the door because she did not know what else to do. Dylan said she called out Kaylee's name and did not indicate if she got a response. Dylan said she then tried to call Kaylee, Xana, and Maddie on their phones, but not Ethan. Interesting. So she only tries to call the three girls, but not Ethan, even though she knows Ethan's in the house. Right? No call to 911, no call to, right? But she does try to call the three girls, but not Ethan. Okay. Dylan was asked if she saw anyone come downstairs or heard anything. Dylan said, no, I don't even know how they got in. They don't even know how they got in. We're usually pretty good about locking doors and never had any problems before. It was just really random. When asked again about the series of events, Dylan said she opened the door when she cried out to Kaylee and then closed the door because she was scared. Dylan said she then opened the door again and heard who she thought was Kaylee, but could have been Xana, crying in the bathroom. Dylan said she then heard a man's voice say, quote, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." Dylan said it was weird because the statement was not nice. The statement was not in a nice way, and the voice was one she had never heard before. It was weird because the statement was not in a nice way. And now, so she's not, now, even though she knows it was definitely Kaylee coming down the stairs and running around and whatever, the person she hears crying in the bathroom on the second floor, she's not sure if she thinks it's Kaylee, but it could have been Xana. It's interesting she says that. Could have been Xana. She never tries to call Ethan, but it's either Kaylee or Xana. So she's sure it's either Kaylee or Xana crying in the bathroom. Okay. Dylan said she then heard a man's voice say, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." Dylan said it was weird because the statement was not in a nice way, and the voice is one she'd never heard before. Dylan said she called out to Kaylee again, and there was no crying after, and she did not know what happened after that. Dylan said she opened the door again, and the guy is right there. Dylan described the male as approximately her height, 5'10", or a few inches taller, not skinny, but athletic build. Dylan said the suspect was wearing all black with masks, plural. Suspect was wearing all black with masks, plural, that covered just his forehead and goes around his face. Dylan showed with her hands the mask exposed his nose but covered the mouth. Dylan said she believed the suspect was white, but did not remember eyebrow color or what his eyes looked like. Dylan said when she saw the suspect, he saw her and just left. Dylan said she believed he was holding something near his stomach or belt line. Dylan used both hands to point straight out from her abdomen. Dylan then moved her hands apart and back together to simulate a bulge. Dylan said this area was black in color, and she thought now maybe it was a gun. Dylan said the unknown object had an arrow shape. Gun with an arrow shape, huh? Interesting. Arrow shape. Sharp force injuries, right? Arrow shape. Okay. Dylan seemed really unsure and said she was tired during the event. Tired, tired. I hear people screaming, crying. There's a commotion. I hear a struggle. I hear this. I hear that. I hear Kaylee and Xana. What sounds like possibly pure speculation, my opinion. Sounds like they're beating the fuck out of each other, crying. Someone has now run down to the second floor, and she is sure it's Kaylee and Xana. For sure, it's their voices. They are the ones screaming. They are the ones crying. It sounds to me like they're either being attacked or beating the fuck out of each other. And that's just my opinion. That is just my opinion. Or there's perpetrators chasing them around the house. Okay? Perpetrators, to plural, because it isn't just one. It isn't just one chasing both, inflicting all of these wounds on both of them in 6 minutes or less. Like, just stop fucking trying to insult my intelligence. Because I can't anymore. The more that I read in these documents, I'm like, you've got to be absolutely shitting me. I don't know why he asked for a plea. I don't know why. I really don't. I mean, whatever. It's his case. But the more that I read this shit, I'm just saying, like, bro, you got to be kidding me. You've got to be absolutely kidding me. Masks, plural. You've got one victim stabbed over 50 times, another victim stabbed over 20 times. And the only thing Dylan is certain of is that she's definitely hearing what sounds like the two girls in her home that she is sure is Kaylee and Xana are on this second floor screaming. The dog is barking. There's a commotion. She thought she heard a struggle. What? 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 I, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that came out wrong. This is just like my personal, guttural, visceral reaction and opinion, okay, to the shit that we've read here in these documents. My flabber is gasted, okay? I said it at the beginning of the live, and I'll say it again. My flabber is fucking gasted. Because Dylan's saying, well, I think now, actually, I think it was a gun. It's weird because it's like this bulge that kind of looks like a gun, but it's got this arrow shape. And Bethany's saying, actually, yeah, I woke up to what I thought was a firecracker in a flash. And Bethany's on the first floor. Interesting. But Dylan will later say, I didn't hear no fucking boom. I didn't hear a firecracker. Or see a flash. Like, what in the actual fuck? You know? I, I don't. Let's continue. Dylan was asked how long she believed it was from the time Kaylee said, someone is here, to when she saw the suspect. Dylan said she thought it was about 10 or 20 minutes. Well, that's absolutely fucking impossible, darling. Impossible. Because he was like literally in and out and under. This crime occurred in like 6 minutes or less, and he's out the house, darling. Oh my God. You understand what I'm saying here, friends? Chat, I hope you understand what my brain means when I say that. She's awoken at approximately 4 a.m. to what she believes is Kaylee running down the fucking stairs screaming someone's here. To the time she saw the suspect. 10 to 20 minutes. Impossible. Impossible. He would have already been out of the fucking house. Right? If you hear Kaylee coming down the stairs at approximately 4 a.m. screaming someone's here and this alleged perpetrator hasn't even gotten into the house till around 4:10-ish, because at like 4:07 he's just pulling into the neighborhood. He literally didn't get into the house until like 4:10-ish, right? She's saying 10 to 20 minutes. That would mean he's still in the house at 4:20, 4:30, which is impossible, right? I hope everybody understands what I'm saying here. I hope I don't sound like an absolute idiot. Okay? I know sometimes I am, but I hope that made sense to you guys the way it makes sense in my brain, right? 10 to 20 minutes from the time she heard Kaylee screaming, "Someone is here," to when she saw the suspect. So that would be between 4:10 and 4:20. And it couldn't have been at 4:10 because he's just getting into the house. And it couldn't have been at 4:20 because at 4:20 he's already speeding away. Dylan went on to say she was in and out of it and she did not fully remember the incident. Dylan was asked where the suspect was at in the residence when Dylan saw him. Dylan said the suspect was between her bedroom door and the kitchen. Dylan said she remembered watching the suspect go out the kitchen door and leave. Dylan said at this time she closed her door and locked it as fast as she could. So her door's open. She looks right at him. He looks right at her. And instead of going full Michael fucking Myers, he just walks out. And she shuts her door and locks it. I mean, well, hot damn if that... Girl, Dylan, if you ever hear this, darling, you have any idea how lucky you are? Literally the luckiest person on the planet, okay? Because based on what occurred here with this suspect and what he just did to your fellow friends and roommates, this man should have absolutely went straight Michael fucking Myers on this girl. And I hope she knows how lucky she is that he did. He, she, they, whoever it was, right? Koberger, his accomplices. At this point, I don't give a shit, right? The perpetrator. This girl is so lucky. Can you imagine? And he's got some kind of what looks like a gun, but also arrow shaped. And sounds like, you know, old school, like World War II fucking bayonet and shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like, that's just wild, wild. For the love, this case is just one big mind fuck, you know? Let me grab my coffee real quick. What the fuck is happening here? It's got Michael Myers running around with a bayonet and shit. Like, say what? In my best little John voice. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, holy shit. 10 to 20 minutes from the time she heard Kaylee and saw the perp. Really? Really? Well, isn't that absolutely interesting? I don't know. That blew my mind when I read that. I said, how is that even possible? How could you still be seeing the perp 10 to 20 minutes later when the motherfucker's already speeding away? Impossible. No, I don't know shit. I literally don't know shit, okay? It's just one big mind fuck and brain melt. And what you're getting is my mind fuck and my brain melt. I'm going to dump it here on the internet for the world to hear. Judge away, bitches, whatever. It's just how I feel about it. Because every doc I read, it's just another brain melt, brain melt. What's that guy's name there? Leon Lush? It's a brain worm, right? Brain worms. That's what this case is. This case is nothing but fucking brain worms. 1,000,000%. Shout out to Leon Lush. Okay? Love that dude. He's absolutely hysterical. Let's continue, friends. Enough of my bullshit. All right. Asked where the suspect, blah, blah, blah. She remembered watching him go out the back door and leave. She closed her door and locked it as fast as she could. Dylan said the suspect did not walk towards her or say anything. Right. You're lucky, girl. You are so lucky. Dylan said once the suspect left, she immediately called B. B said B informed her she heard a sound that sounded like a firework. Dylan then said she told B she called everyone and they are not answering. Dylan said she was in and out of it and believed everyone was just asleep. Dylan said she then went to Bethany's room, locked the door, and went to bed. Well, now we know that's not true. Oopsie poopsie, Dylan. Your fucking phone showed different, darling. No, you did not go to bed. Dylan said she woke up around 11 noon. 11 or noon. She woke up around 11 or noon and called her roommates and no one answered. Dylan said she called H. H came to the residence. Well, she didn't call H. She called H's girlfriend. H came to the residence, went upstairs, and told Dylan they needed to call law enforcement immediately. Dylan was asked if there was anything else she wanted to share. Dylan said the noise Bethany described, the noise is a loud boom, but Dylan said she didn't hear it. Really? Okay. Now we know why the defense forensic criminal investigator, Mr. Batanti, said, oh yeah, no, we're getting a subpoena for you, Mrs. Funk. Okay, Miss Funky. Because we know, darling, that what you have is incredibly exculpatory because this chick is up here saying X, Y, Z, B, A, B, C, and you're saying something completely different, and you literally heard what sounded like a large boom and or firework and saw a flash on the first floor when it's alleged the perpetrator used the slider and never went to the first floor. So who the fuck is either blowing the door open, okay, on the first floor? So I look at it. You've either got somebody blowing the door open with a damn flashbang on the first floor, or someone is pulling some kind of fucked up prank and they're lighting a firework off in the house on the first floor, right? That's just my opinion, purely my opinion and my speculation. Either someone's pulling another prank and they're lighting off a fucking firework on the first floor, right? And Bethany's saying she's hearing it on the first floor. And she saw a flash. And as we'll read further when you get into Detective Payne's supplemental reports, according to him, that first floor, the one that was allegedly not occupied in it, it did have a bed in it with a bunch of shit strewn around in the room, and the room was in disarray. Okay? And that's where she is allegedly hearing this fucking boom / firework and seeing a flash. So what's going on in that first floor down there if the perpetrator was never in the first floor? Just saying. Just saying. You know, this is absolutely wild. Described the noise as a loud boom, but Dylan says she didn't hear it. Dylan was asked if any of her roommates shared any weird experiences in the last couple weeks or calls or texts. Dylan said, no, it's been all normal. Nothing weird at all. Nothing really weird happens in Moscow usually. When asked if there were any altercations at the blank party, sorority, frat, I don't know, Dylan said no, everything was normal. Dylan mentioned again she was with Dee and Xana at the party. Dylan mentioned again she was with Dee and Xana at the party. Dylan was asked if anyone was having sexual relations with anyone they shouldn't be. Dylan was asked if anyone was having sexual relations with anyone they shouldn't be. Oh, well, that's interesting. Fuck would make you think that? How would you even ask that? Why would you even ask that? Interesting. Now, one could take that as, like, were these girls, hooking up with Ethan behind Xana's back, something like that. But see, where my brain immediately went to, literally, maybe it's just because, I'm just not normal in the brain. I have brain worms, right? Um, I immediately took this as Dylan. Were any of your roommates having sexual relations with anyone they shouldn't be, i.e., teachers, police officers, anyone at the university, teachers' assistants, things like that? That's just kind of how I took that. Anyone they shouldn't be, right? Sexual relations with anyone they shouldn't be. I'm sure it just means, are you guys like hooking up with each other's boyfriends behind each other's backs? And, because I have brain worms, I just think it's something different. But my brain immediately went to people they shouldn't be. That's like, your like teachers, professors, teachers' assistants, police officers, shit like that, right? But that's just my opinion. Dylan brought up an incident which occurred about a month prior. Dylan said she and B remembered Kaylee saw a shadow while she was taking Murphy outside. Dylan said Kaylee also mentioned she was at blank 2 or 3 weeks prior. An individual was following her. Dylan also said she arrived home one time and the door to the residence at King Road was found open. Dylan said she did not believe the slider door was locked on the night of 11/12/2022. Dylan said she heard Murphy barking a lot around 4 o'clock on November 13th when Kaylee went upstairs. This is before the perp has entered the neighborhood. Murphy's already barking a lot around 4 a.m. And it's right around this time, Dylan is sure the people she hears screaming, struggling, fighting, and crying are Kaylee and Xana. She never bothers to try Ethan. Interview 2, HJ. Hunter said around noon on 11/13, D called E, Hunter's girlfriend. Dylan told Emily she thought something was not right in her house. Dylan also told Emily she heard or saw a man in her house the night prior. Dylan asked Emily and Hunter to come over and make sure everything was okay because she locked herself in Bethany's room. Hunter said he was the first person to get to the residence. Hunter said he entered the code to the front door where Bethany and Dylan were in Bethany's room on the first floor. Dylan and Bethany were telling Hunter they didn't know what was going on. Hunter said he went up the stairs immediately and immediately went into Xana's room. Hunter said this was the only room he went into. Isn't it so strange? None of them, that nothing has, no one has even thought. It's really interesting to me that it's like they already know they don't need to check on Kaylee or Maddie, right? It's like they already know they can't call Kaylee or Maddie. No one bothers to even, it doesn't. And I know they all said that it was just like, oh, it didn't even occur to us until after. Like, well, where's Kaylee and Maddie? But like, stop it. This is now 8 hours later. Dylan and Bethany know damn well what went on the night before. The screaming, the yelling, the crying, the dog, the flash, the boom. It's just insane. Brainworms. That's what this shit is. Brainworms. Leon Lush, don't come for me. Don't sue me or anything. I'm just saying I have brainworms, and I appreciate whoever came up with that term. I attribute it to him, but don't try to copyright me, bro. Where are we? Hunter said he went up the stairs and immediately went into Xander's room. He said this is the only room he went into. Hunter said when he approached the door, it was only partially open. Hunter said when he opened it, he saw Xana and Ethan. He said he initially did not realize all the blood was dried blood. In the room. I just lost my place. Hunter said he thought at first they had been drunk and left a mess. Hunter said when he stood there for a moment, he began to realize what he was seeing. Hunter said B and D were uncontrollably crying. Hunter said he told them to get out of the house and call law enforcement. Hunter said he then went to the kitchen and grabbed a knife from the drawer. Hunter said he then went into the room and checked the closet to make sure there was not anyone else in the room. Hunter said he checked for a pulse on both Xana and Ethan. Hunter said both of the bodies had rigor mortis and were cold with no breath or pulse. He said he believed the two had been deceased for a while. Hunter said he believed he left the knife on the folding table in the living room. Hunter said E, J, and L started to enter the house and come up the stairs. Hunter told them to get out of the residence. Hunter said this was about the time Moscow PD arrived on scene. Hunter said the officer told him to stay here where he was at. He said he did not know if there was anyone else upstairs and has not gone anywhere else in the house. So at this point, they haven't even cleared the house and don't know if fucking Michael Myers is still inside. Know what I mean? They literally have no idea if Michael Myers is still inside the house somewhere. He said he had trouble comprehending what he was seeing. Hunter said he was not at the redacted party the night prior. Fraternity, sorority, whatever. Hunter said he and Ethan were texting the night prior by phone. Hunter said Ethan wanted him to come over, but Hunter chose not to. Hunter said he knew Ethan since fall of 2021. He said he was in blank and Ethan was a member of blank. He indicated J and E were in the same sorority and were roommates. H said L, who was also present, was in the fraternity blank and was currently dating J. H said he and L stayed at J's apartment with E and J the night of 11/12. H was asked when he left, when was the last time he was at King Road. H indicated he was last at the residence on November 12th, where he was pre-gaming for the Vandals football game. H said he got to the residence around 12 or 1300 hours and left about 14:30 to go to a different party. H said last time E was at 1122 King Road was Friday 11/11. He did not know of anyone who had issues with E and Xana dating. Why is... Wait a minute. Okay, so why would Ethan's name be redacted here? Know of anyone who had issues? Oh my God. H did not know of anyone who had issues with redacted and Xana dating. I mean, Ethan's name is all over this document. So why did they redact it here? Did not know of anyone who had issues with redacted and Xana dating. Look, you can see all the times Ethan's name is in this document. Sorry, my brain literally just like I said, brain worms. I mean, it could just be like an error. I'm not going to get stuck on stupid for too long with this one, but that's really interesting. So this whole document has Ethan's name all over it. And here, Hunter is being asked a question. Hunter did not know of anyone who had issues with Redacted and Xana dating. He estimated Xana and Ethan were dating for about 8 months. Said he knew Xana very well through his girlfriend, E. Redacted. Hunter said he was not very familiar with Maddie or Kaylee. Bullshit. Not very familiar with Maddie or Kaylee. What? H allowed pictures to be taken of his phone of the conversations between him and Ethan. That's really interesting, huh? Hmm. Okay, interview 3, JM. I mean, I'll speculate Jenna McClure, but what do I know? I don't know shit. Jay said she texted B at 11:20. Okay, so it is Jenna. Has to be, because we have the phone records for that. They've already released that. See, I don't even know why they redact this stupid shit. You already put out the other shit. We already know who these people are. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So stupid. It really is. Like the internet don't know who these people are, or can't figure it out. Like we can't figure out initials, huh? Okay. JM. Jay said she texted B at 11:20 hours on the morning of 11:13. Jay asked B if she was awake. Jay said B called her back at 11:49. B told Jay she and D were in B's room. Jay said Bethany was freaked out because her roommates were not answering the phone. Jay said she heard Dylan on the phone in the background saying, I saw something. Jenna said Bethany asked her to come over to 1122 King Road and pick her up. Jenna said Bethany texted her while she was driving and said E and H, Emily and Hunter were on the way as well. Jenna said as she arrived, MPD units were arriving as well. Jenna said she did not go to the sorority, it looks like it is an S there, sorority party, but went to a different one instead. Ooh. Remember when Lana was talking about how they got everybody to go to this different party and not the sorority party because they were trolling the fucking sororities? So Jenna says she didn't go to the sorority party but went to a different one instead. Jenna said Bethany and Dylan came to this other party after she left. Jenna estimated Dylan left her party about 0:30 hours, and Bethany left her party at about 1 on the 13th. Jenna said she was in Redacted with D, L, B, and Xana. D, L, B, and Xana. D, L, B, and Xana. Okay. Jay said Xana and Maddie were both in. Oh, this is their sororities. Okay. Jenna said she was in blank with D, L, and B. And Xana, Jay said Xana and Maddie were both in Pi Phi, but dropped out. And Kaylee was in Alpha Phi, but dropped out as well. Jenna suspected the girls dropped out of their respective sororities because of issues with other girls in the houses. Jenna specifically cited girls on the quote executive board. I know who that was at the time. I'm sure you all do. Some of them literally ignored Kaylee at the grub truck, just so we're clear. Jenna specifically cited girls on the executive board who tell other members what to do. Jenna suspected this was what they did not like. Jenna did so because of money issues. Jenna said Maddie was Bethany's big sister in the sorority house. Jenna said she knew Kaylee saw a dark figure staring at her from the tree line when she took her dog Murphy out to pee. Jenna said this occurred about a month ago at 1122 King. Jenna said there has been lighthearted talk and jokes made about a stalker in the past. Jenna said all the girls were slightly nervous about it being a fact, though. Jenna did not indicate any social media issues or issues between the girls who lived together. Jenna said there was no issue with the girls from redacted sorority and the residents at 1122 King. Jenna said the front door had issues with locking and sometimes it could be opened without a code. Jenna said she did know the code to the front door. Jenna said she was unaware if the residents kept the backsliding door locked regularly. Interesting. Okay, hang on, I gotta mute for 1 second, friend, sorry. All right, so sorry, friends. We are back. All right. Interview number 4. LB. LB. L said he. Okay, I know who this is. I'm not throwing out people's names. I'm not doxing people, but I know who this is. He. Okay. Um, L said he did not go to the blank party. L said he went to sleep at 2000 hours on November 12th at Jay's apartment on Taylor Ave. L said he woke up around 2 or 3. L said he, Jay, and E were up talking in the living room of the apartment until about 5 on the 13th. L indicated H was present but not awake during the time. L said they all went to bed at this time and woke up again around what he thought was 9. L said H and E came into the room where he and J were. L said D had called E around 10 o'clock and sounded scared. So L here is saying Dylan called Emily around 10 o'clock in the morning and sounded scared. L said Dylan told Emily someone had been in her house last night. L said Dylan and Bethany ran downstairs and locked themselves in a room. Dylan and Bethany ran downstairs? Well, Bethany was already downstairs, I thought. But they ran together downstairs and locked themselves in a room, huh? Elle said that Dylan informed them she did this because of her seeing someone in the house, and Dylan could only see his nose and chin. Elle said Dylan was freaking out and wanted them to come over to 1122 King. That's at 10 in the morning, huh? Elle said he walked with E and J to 1122 King Road from Jay's apartment on Taylor Ave. Elle said Dylan and Bethany walked out of the house crying. Elle said H arrived to the residence first because he left before them. Elle said he went into the downstairs door and H told him not to come up the stairs. Elle said he did not know Ethan very well. Elle said he did not see anything on social media. Elle recalled an incident from about a month prior where Dylan said there was a guy stalking her. Dylan said there was a guy stalking her. L said he did not hear anything from the night prior. Interviews were video recorded, uploaded to the case file. Oh boy. Holy shit. Okay. How was number 42? What the fuck? Shit is absolutely wild. Let me come back over to chat. I know that one was kind of a longer one. Welcome in, everybody. Hello. It says there's over 100 people here. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. Welcome on in. Good to see you. How's Jeff H in here? I keep seeing, hang on. He can't be in here. I don't know how you're seeing him, Lucy. I can't see him. But yes, welcome in, everybody. Hello, Kate. Hello, Tonka. Hello. Young Black Economist. Hello. Six String. What up? I hope everybody's having a great Friday. Happy Friday. Welcome on in. Thank you so much for being here. Sandra, Bree, Sully. Hello. Zoe. Hello. All right. Oh, he's Six String. Jeff H is blocked, so Six String Sizzling is in here. Oh, Christ, Jeff, get a life. Go on your own channel. I mean, I have no problem with you saying whatever you want to say. It's just wild to me that you come into people's chats and run your mouth and talk shit and you're oppositional just to be oppositional when you have your own entire whole ass channel that you can just go say all the things you want to say on instead of clogging up people's chats. You know what I mean? But it's cool. I'll let you hang out for a while. My mods know I don't like to block people. I did block you though, Jeff H. I absolutely did. That was me. It wasn't my mods. I did block you 100%. Because you could just go run your mouth on your own channel. You don't have to do it here. That's kind of how I look at it, right? But anyways, let's get into the next one. Like, that's why I don't go to people's, you know what I mean? Even when I'm over in like Lana's, if I'm in someone's chat, I'll throw in a few comments. I'll say a hello. I may throw in a super chat or a super sticker, right? But I'm not in there. I'm not on some channel of a person I don't even really like or whatever. And I'm not there to just be oppositional and be a dick to the people in the chat. And like, I ain't got time for all that shit. I just ain't got time for all that shit. I have my own channel where I can run my own mouth and I don't have to do it in other people's chats. Like, that's what I have a channel for. I can just say everything I'm thinking and run my fucking mouth right here on my own channel. I don't have to go do it in people's chats, you know? I get it all out here. I dump it all onto you guys. You know what I mean? And then it's out of me and I feel better, you know, and I feel like, weight's been lifted off my shoulders now that I've gotten all of this out of my brain and I can, you know, move on with my day. That's what you should do, Jeff. Go get it all out on your own channel and get it all out of your brain. That way you can move on with your day and find other things to do besides clogging up chats. Feel me, homie? All right, let's get into the next one. Number 43. Supplemental report, number 43, Lawrence Mowry. And this is for eBay user Warren. On November 29, 2022, I found that I had received 2 emails from Snapchat dated November 28, 2022 at approximately 1700 hours. These emails provided links to download the data requested pursuant to the 2 warrants served on Snapchat on November 21st. The files were downloaded and saved onto a computer located in the Secure Computer Forensics Lab located at the Moscow Police Department. I located the user ID redacted, who showed subscriber RWP, born 1967. And examining the files, I located the user ID who showed subscriber RWP, redacted Idaho, born in 1967. The data showed R purchased a K-bar USMC brown leather knife sheath for 7-inch blades, number 1217S, which is their serial number they were looking for, on August 14th, 2022 at 3:29. It's an interesting date, isn't it? Interesting date. What happened on August 15th? Anybody remember? I located 2 younger males associated with R in our TLO. I found TLO to be generally reliable in previous investigations. Those males appear to be our sons. TR, born 1996, KR, born 1994. That appear in R. Now I can't tell. RWP. Oh, okay. TP and KP. Okay. 96 and 94. Oh, Lana, thank you, darling. I just spotted you out of the corner of my eye. Welcome in. Love you. Hello. Thank you for being here. You're amazing. Thank you for your what is that? Super chickers, super chat, super sticker, whatever. Fuck. Thank you, darling. Appreciate you. You're amazing. All right. So these two were born 1996, 1994. In reviewing R's eBay account, it appears he purchases and sells military memorabilia and equipment. I informed Sergeant Dustin Blaker of this information for follow-up. I completed the warrant, return, receipt, and affidavit. These documents were sent to the Latah County Prosecutor's Office to be returned to the court. I also emailed a copy of the receipt to eBay, as this was the originating email address associated with the documents. Located the user ID who showed subscriber information RWP, born 1967. And he did purchase the exact sheets that they were looking for on August 14th. Huh? Interesting. August 14th. All right. Well, I'll stop sharing that. Just another fucking brain worm. Let's go on to number 44. I'm going on to number 44. Here we go. Supplemental report, number 44. I'm playing catch up because I was supposed to go last night and get out to at least number 50 so that I could get, 51 through at least 100 done today. But whatever. It is what it is. I know everybody else is, at page fucking doc 100, doc 200, whatever. I'm at my own pace here, bitches. Love ya. I'm just taking it at my own pace because that's all I can do. All right, supplemental report, number 44, Lawrence Mowry, Snapchat warrants. On November 21st, 2022, I requested and was granted a warrant for Snap for the accounts, plural, associated with the following identifiers. Redacted, Kaylee, JD, DMBF. On November 21st, 2022, at approximately 1827, I logged into the Snap Inc. law enforcement portal and located this link and served the warrants. I received an email from Redacted providing me with internal case ID number blank and blank. I love you. On November 28th, 2022, Snap Inc. sent 2 emails stating the files were ready to be downloaded. On November 29th, 2022, I logged into the portal, downloaded the files provided pursuant to the warrant. These files were downloaded to a computer in the secured computer forensics lab at the Moscow Police Department. An examination of the data will be conducted at my earliest convenience. See, everything here, it says return to the Latah County Prosecutor's Office. All these docs all say that, right? Except for that one. It says M redacted Prosecutor's Office. And it's for the router at the house. Which is super, super, super interesting. That the router at the house went to a different prosecutor's office. I mean, I don't know what that means. Maybe it don't mean shit. It's just really interesting to me. All of this other stuff is being returned to the Latah County Prosecutor's Office, except for whatever was going on with that router. It went to an M redacted prosecutor's office. So I don't know what that means. Okay, number 44. Let's go to number 45. It's because the prosecutor served the search. That's because the prosecutor served the search warrant. But which prosecutor? Which prosecutor's office begins with an M? Because, like, it's redacted except for the first letter and it says M. So I assumed maybe it meant like Monroe or something, but I wasn't sure. And I was trying to think of, like, what is there somewhere in Washington that began with an M? You know, like, I don't know. It was just really weird because it's redacted except for the M. Oh, Tonka, Meridian. Oh, okay. There you go. Okay. Maybe, all right. There you go. Thanks. I mean, I don't know, and I did say that. I have no idea. I was just like, that's interesting. The rest of them are all going back to Latah, except for the one for the router, all being returned to an M, a prosecutor's office that begins with an M. So I thought that was interesting. All right. Let's see. Supplemental report number 45, Lawrence Mallory, cell phone warrant return. On November 17, 2022, I began to receive data from the cell phone providers in response to the warrants served on them. At approximately 13:52, I received an email from Redacted informing me the files from Verizon for the requested phone call detail records and tower dump data was ready to be downloaded. I logged into the share file portal and downloaded the corresponding files. I completed the warrant return receipt and affidavit. These documents were sent to the Latah County Prosecutor's Office to be returned to the court. Also emailed a copy of the receipt to the Verizon at Redacted, as this was the originating email address associated with the documents. At approximately 15:30, I received an email from RB, Redacted at Inland Cellular. The email included files containing the data requested regarding the tower dump data. I completed the warrant return receipt and affidavit. These documents were sent to the Latah County Prosecutor's Office to be returned to the court. Also emailed a copy to RB at Inland Cellular, as it was the originating email, blah, blah, blah. At approximately 15:30, I received an email from AT&T, Redacted, informing me the files from AT&T for the requested call detail records and tower dump data. Logged into the Global Legal Demand Center portal and downloaded the corresponding files. Completed the warrant return, receipt, and affidavits. Those documents were sent to the Latah County Prosecutor's Office to be returned to the court. Blah, blah, blah. Also emailed a copy to blah, blah, blah. On November 18th at approximately 13:23, I received 2 emails from T-Mobile. These emails included the files containing the data requested regarding the T-Mobile call data records and tower dump data requested. Same thing, completed the warrant return, receipt and affidavit, blah, 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 returned to Latah County Prosecutor. Okay. Number 46. All right. Supplemental report number 46. Lawrence Mowry. T-Mobile amended warrant. On November 26, 2022, I requested and was granted an amended T-Mobile tower dump data warrant to include devices within a 2-mile radius. The original warrant included 0.5. Okay, cool. So this is just the amended to extend it all out to 2 miles, right? On November 26th at approximately 20:59, the warrant was served to T-Mobile via email at redacted. On November 28th, I received an email with the file provided pursuant to the warrant. These files were downloaded to a computer in the secured computer forensics lab at the Moscow Police Department. An examination of the data will be conducted at my earliest convenience. Oh, well, thanks, Mallory. I completed the warrant return, receipt and affidavit. Documents were sent to the Latah County Prosecuting Office, blah, blah, blah. Okay. It's just for the amended warrant to extend it. So they did originally like 0.50 miles within like a, half a mile of the crime scene or whatever, and then they extended it out to 2 miles. I do remember that. That's interesting, huh? All right, number 47. Here we go, friends. We're getting there. We're almost to 50. Make that bigger. Oopsie. Bring it down one. There we go. Supplemental report. Number 47, Detective Lawrence Mowry, for witness phones. On November 13, 2022, I was directed to interview potential witnesses in regards to the incidents at 1122 King. When did he write this up? The 30th. 17 days after the crime. He typed this up. Oh, okay. On November 13th, 2022, I was directed to interview potential witnesses. DM, BF, JD, EA, MC. So Dylan, Bethany, Jack, Emily, and Maisie. Interesting. I received signed consent forms from M, D, A, and C. So Mortensen, Decor, Alant, and Chapin. I was informed by Corporal Brett Payne, Funky provided verbal consent for her phone to be extracted. The phones were extracted using the following forensic software. Upon completion of the extractions, the phones will return to their owner as promptly as possible. The data extracted was saved to a computer located in the secure forensic computer lab at the Moscow Police Department. Okay. Number 48. All right. Report number 48. This is from Aaron Morris, typed up on November 30th. Vehicle center stack bookings. Oh, okay. The Explorer and the Chevy. Huh? Interesting. Okay, so we have the Ford center stack taken from the. He was asked to interview Maisie. Now there's just a couple things that are kind of. That's weird. On November 30th, I assisted the FBI with removing the center stacks from Ethan Chapin's Ford Explorer and Madison Mogan Chevy Cruze. Once the center stacks were removed, I booked them into the Moscow Police Department. Oh, okay. Hmm. Interesting. So the FBI, not his Jeep, but from the Explorer, and from her little four-door white sedan, right? That's interesting. Okay, well, let's get on to the next one. Cops are asking, are any of you sleeping with people you shouldn't be? Are you guys like, sleeping with each other's boyfriends behind each other's backs or anything like that? And it's just really interesting the questions these officers are asking, who they're taking from what. Thigh swabs on Xana, but not on anybody else. Her left foot is bagged. Nobody else's feet are bagged. Or maybe they were, I just don't remember. But I feel like she's the only one, like her left foot was bagged, which was weird. I don't know. It's just a lot of weird shit. It's just a bunch of brain worms. All right, supplemental report number 49. Lawrence Mallory, typed up on December 1st. And this is regarding iCloud warrant service. On November 18th, 2022, I applied for and was granted warrants for the iCloud accounts with the following identifiers. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. On November 19th, I applied for and was granted a warrant for the iCloud account with the following identifiers with one IMEI. So that's the 18th, then the 19th. Then November 21st, I applied for and was granted warrants for the iCloud accounts with the following identifiers: Kaylee Gonsalves with 1, 2, 3 IMEIs. Phone, laptop, tablet, maybe? I don't know. It's weird though, they left her name in and all these other ones are redacted, huh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 other, IMEIs here that they're looking at. They redacted everybody else. Hers they left. And for her, there's 3 IMEIs. So that's interesting. Okay, stop sharing that one. All right, we're here. We're at number 50. About damn time. I wanted to get to this last night, but here we are. It's fine. Almost done, and then I'm going to pop back on probably about 3:30, or maybe I'll push it back, actually. I think what I'm going to do is probably push it back to, like, after dinner time, and then tonight, if we can, try and push through, like, at least 51 through 80 or something, if you guys are up for it. It's a Friday night. Can try and get through, like, 51 through 80, maybe, later on after dinner. Give my eyes a break, give my brain a break. All right, let's see. All right, supplemental report number 50. We made it, friends. Give yourselves a round of applause and a pat on the back. We made it. This is from Justin Dean, typed up on December 1st. Picked up the 3 cell phones and a hard drive from Walla Walla PD. Let's see. On November 29th, 2022, I was asked to pick up 3 cell phones and a hard drive from Detective Chris Ruchert of the Walla Walla Police Department. I met with Detective Ruchert at approximately 11:55 and took possession of the 4 items. I drove back to the Moscow Police Department, where I handed the items to Detective Lawrence Mallory at approximately 14:30. Okay. You didn't make sure they were booked into, like, the evidence room or anything? Or that's weird. picked up the 3 cell phones. I don't know, maybe it's somewhere else. I'm hoping when he picked it up, he had to take photos of everything and fill out a chain of custody form and then make sure it got booked in appropriately. Did you just, what do you mean? You just gave it to him and walked away, huh? You just handed it to him and said, hey, there you go, fella. See you around soon, friend. I, I don't get it. It doesn't say nothing about filling out like a chain of custody report or I took photos. I put it in an envelope with a piece of evidence tape and initialed and photographed. That's weird. Okay. Maybe it's somewhere else. But okay. All right. And that was number 50. Holy guacamole, we did it. Made it to number 50. Holy shit. The reason that those were there, hello, Starship Trooper. Now I can highlight people's comments and say hi to everyone. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Sudie, hello. Joanna, hello. Sorry, guys, when I'm reading docs, I'm not looking at my chat. Thanks for being here and thanks for hanging out. Why there? Starship Trooper, great question. The reason they ended up in Walla Walla is because we have already previously read another document somewhere, or maybe when I was reading ahead, and it's what I haven't read yet on the channel here. They attempted to go through Post Falls, Coeur d'Alene, and there were like 2 or 3 agencies they attempted to go through to get these extractions done, and nobody had the software to do it. So they ended up having to go through someone else in Walla Walla or whatever who did have the capability, which is strange because you have the FBI doing everything for you. So it's really strange to me that out of all the things the FBI is doing, they're not handling the phones that are locked, that nobody can extract, that nobody, like, you know what I mean? It's just strange, but okay, whatever. 3 devices and a hard drive. So either way, like I said, I don't know, guys. This case is just an absolute, it's just a fucking big, huge brain worm. That's all it is. It's one large brain worm. It's a parasite in the brain. And that's all that I can say. It's literally just a parasite in your brain, and it's probably going to be for a really, really long time. Especially as we continue to read docs and as we get further, I promise you, the parasite just grows inside of there. So like right now, it's just this tiny little brain worm parasite, right? It's just little. And the more and more we read and the further we go in these docs, by the end of this shit, the parasite is going to be coming out of like our fucking eyeball or hanging out of our nose, okay? That is where we are going to be at once we get to the end of these docs. It's just insanity. So, just my opinion. That's all I have to say about that. But yeah, so, I mean, thanks guys for hanging out with me. Thanks for pushing through this. I know you've already heard it all through other channels. I know you're already way ahead of the game. You probably already read all the docs yourself. So, I do appreciate you hanging out here because I really know you guys already know all the shit. You already heard it from somebody else. So I appreciate the support and I appreciate you chilling in chat and conversing with each other and staying respectful. And Jeff, I have no problem letting you hang out as long as you're being respectful, especially to my Lucy, because that's my right brain. And if for any reason, Jeff, you ever think that you're going to be disrespectful to my Lucy, to my right brain, here, that's not going to happen. So I won't block you, Jeff. You just need to stay respectful to my mods. That's all I'm saying. And don't spam my chat with your bullshit. You're allowed to give your opinion or whatever, but if you're going to be here just to, be oppositional to be oppositional like a little kid who has ODD, then, like I said, all respect to you. You have your own channel. I suggest you utilize it over there. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. There's a reason I don't come to your channel and I don't clog up your chat with all of my opinions and all of my bullshit. I just do it here. You know what I mean? So I say that with all respect. I really do. I have no problem with you coming and conversing, but you are disrespectful to Lucy sometimes. And that's why you got blocked last time, because some of the things that you say are quite disrespectful. And I'm not talking about swearing or anything like that. But either way, everything's fine. Everything's chill. We can all be adults here. I don't like blocking people. I really don't. So I think my block list has maybe 3, 4 people on it. Jeff, you are one of them, unfortunately, but I see you have a different one. So it's fine. It's fine. I'll let you chill as long as you stay chill. But I truly appreciate all you guys hanging out with me. I appreciate you being here. And thank you for staying kind and respectful. Because really, at the end of the day, none of us know shit, okay? That's a fact, and that's why I always say it. At the end of the day, none of us know shit. What we do know is that, yes, Koberger has pled guilty. Great, fine, okay. But if anybody and thinks that he was able to inflict well over 100 stab wounds on 4 victims in 6 minutes or less, and still get out of the house and not leave a trace other than the sheet, is just, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's not reality, in my opinion, and that's just my opinion. You know, and I don't know shit. So my opinion is worth nothing, you know. But this is some wild shit, okay? And we'll be back. I'm going to push it back until probably after dinner, let's say like 7 o'clock, right? Maybe I'll set it for like 7 p.m. and we'll come back and we'll just try and push through number 51 through like 75, 80 if we can. Everybody go enjoy the day. It's a Friday. Many of you got paid today if you work. Go spend your money, run your errands, and come back like around 7:30, 8 o'clock after dinner. And we'll do a Friday night ski together. Not often you get me on a Friday night, so let's do it. Mods, appreciate you. Lana, thank you for your super chat, your super sticker. I think Jazz King, I saw that you had also put a little super chat earlier, way earlier, and I appreciate you for that. So thank you, everyone. If you threw in a little Cash App or a little tipski, if you sent something to the Cash App, I haven't seen it yet, but if you did, and I just haven't checked my phone or anything, thank you. I hope you guys have a great Friday. And we'll see you back here probably between 7 and 8. Turn your notification on for the next live, and YouTube should notify you. And thank you, everybody. Have an awesome, awesome day. See you later. Bye.